when it comes to music and movies and streaming, the man who shows us the light. He comes and goes on a rainbow. He's the magnificent culture blaster, everyone, Michael Snyder. Michael, hello.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Kim. Hello, Albert. And wherever you are, hi, Tony. And mostly, hello, Mark Thompson show audience. Over 50,000 subscribers. And I just want to say right here and now, if each subscriber sent me $1, just $1. Anyway, so it's All Saints Day, a big deal. I mean, we sinners have the rest of the year to ourselves.
Oh, there you go. Right, I forgot. Yeah.
And last night...
Every day is All Sinner Day, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Except today.
Except today. I am back in Los Angeles after being up at my place in SF for a while. Mm-hmm. And... due to the travel, I'll get to it in a moment, I wasn't able to cover some of the bigger movies, but last night I went to the West Hollywood Halloween street party. Oh, my God. You know, all I'm going to say, and you know what the neighborhood's like, everyone there was on daylight savings time.
Yeah, West Hollywood, very gay.
And the costumes were fantastic. You got to remember, this is Los Angeles, this is Hollywood, hair, makeup, and costume people are at the top of their professions, and oh my God, the things I saw. And if anyone follows me on social media, I will be posting a few photos from my escapades last night. I am, of course, at Instagram at Mike the Knife 123, and right. You can catch me on Facebook.
Mike the Knife 1 was taken, so you had to go to 1, 2, 3.
I'm just doing a countdown, Mark, in reverse.
I will say that Michael makes a very good point. When you're in, this is really something you notice when you're in L.A., Hollywood, whatever. All of the front yards that have tombstones, and they go to another level. They have now tombstones and fog machines and these animatronics. I went to a party last night with these massive, that might have been 10-foot figures in the front yard that were speaking. Okay, they were saying, "I'll haunt you in your dreams."
No. Those were fired executives from Hollywood. those people there, they really think they're going to get revenge.
I'd never seen anything like it until I got here.
Well, I'll just say quickly before
I've never seen anything like it.
Before we get to the meat of the matter, I do want to point out that like the annual candy cane lanes that spring up across the country, and there's one I know in, I guess, out near the Woodland Hills area. There are Halloween lanes in Los Angeles, and I know there's some crazy and beautiful stuff up in Sierra Madre. Didn't have the time because I was commuting from San Francisco, and I bring this up again because it's impacted today's show. 3 movies.
Are you apologizing for somehow becoming distracted by your travel and not being able to? What's happening right now, Kim?
Well,
I think
I'll explain this.
The culture blaster is over-explaining. I don't understand.
No, I think it's important because people have a certain level of expectation, and I'm just going to say that the movies here, the new Robert Zemeckis thing, reuniting him with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, his collaborators on the now somewhat maligned Forrest Gump, have returned as an ensemble creatively in a movie called Here. And here's an interesting point, and I say this again to put context on it. The only chance people in Los Angeles had to see it were if they reached out on their own to publicists and said, "Oh, I want to attend this American Cinematheque showing." There was no invitation sent out.
I see.
I don't believe there was a screening at all in San Francisco. But again, I was in SF when they had that Cinematheque thing. And then Juror Number 1, the new Clint Eastwood-directed movie starring Nicholas Hoult, which is supposed to be pretty good. I think they may have had one screening in L.A. last week. I'm in San Francisco, and now I'm back here.
I see. So you're explaining sort of some holes in your typical report. Trevor Starr, who is in Hollywood, which is why he calls himself Trevor Starr in Hollywood, says this is a classic Michael Snyder time waster.
Well, I'm just, again, context. Okay,
right, let's get started,
Trevor,
please,
let's get into it because, time is short. We'll kick off things, and, we're kind of scrambling right now. A Real Pain is a new movie that was written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. He did another film prior to this that was pretty decent, kind of an interpersonal investigation into, modern American dysfunction. And we kind of have that here with A Real Pain. It is, in fact, about 2 cousins, and they're very, very different. Jesse Eisenberg is an uptight achiever who lives in New York City with his wife and son and is very proud of them. And he works in some sort of marketing deal, and he's doing pretty well for himself. And his cousin, who has been, as the character says, bonded to the hip with the Jesse Eisenberg character for many years, is kind of a slacker, kind of a ne'er-do-well in a way, but so charming. And he's played by Kieran Culkin, one of the very talented Culkin brothers, one of whom, of course, is MIA, the one that started this whole Culkin, acting family situation.
Oh, Mac is gone?
Well, no, he's around.
He's around. He's doing.
But I mean, I think he dressed up as Joe Burrow from the Bengals.
He's very nice, Michael. I played cards with him a few times.
He strikes me as a lovely individual. I think
Don't
he made
disparage
his
Macaulay Culkin.
How dare you
How
say
dare
I
you.
would
Get
do
back
that.
to the review.
Anyway, so Kieran plays the kind of ne'er-do-well Benji, and David and Benji are reeling in the I guess we call it the aftermath of their beloved grandmother's death. And this grandmother escaped Poland during the Holocaust through, as the David character says, a million miracles. She somehow got out. And Benji was particularly close to her. And to honor her, and with money she left to them, they decided to take a Holocaust tour of Poland. Now, this sounds very similar to a recent Stephen Fry, Lena Dunham movie where a father and daughter do that very same thing. But this is a much better film. It's a very engaging dramedy as the two cousins start to deal with long simmering issues, the fact that Benji is so self-destructive, the jealousy that David has for Benji's charm, and also the disdain Benji has kind of for what's happened to David over the course of his life, how he's focused on life and family and work. And I really was impressed with this. And we talk about that previous film about Fry and Dunham and their characters going to Warsaw and to Poland in search of their past. And the same thing happens in this movie, only it just works so much better. And I got to say, kudos to Eisenberg, who wrote and directed it. It's largely shot in Poland, and it really kind of resonated with me. I thought it was lovely. It's in select theaters right now. And, Culkin, by the way, runs away with the film, and he makes you so uneasy as you're watching him because of his own dysfunction and the fact that he, has this ability to get people to like him. And then on a dime,
so he plays
something,
the charmer, yeah.
Yeah, but on the dime, he'll turn and get incredibly preachy and resentful. It's really a beautifully executed performance. And
written by Eisenberg, as you said,
and directed by him, and it is in select theaters, and
that is called A Real Pain. What else do you have for us, Michael?
Okie dokie,
great culture
Smokey.
blaster.
Let's move on to a movie that you'll know that I wanted to see. It's called Absolution, and the reason I wanted to see it is that it stars. Come on.
It's Liam.
It's Liam Neeson, and he's back
it.
again. Liam Neeson lately has been, he's been cranking them out for a while as America's elderly action star, as the other. He's from
he's
the
not
UK.
as elderly as
Clint Eastwood,
Harrison Ford.
and Harrison Ford. But and actually he's from the UK. I think he's Irish. Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, but in any event, he plays these American hard men that come up against the how shall we put this? The weight of age upon a man who's made his living being physical, being violent, being the strong man. And in this case, actually, this is very similar to a recent movie of his where he was having kind of oncoming Alzheimer's or something, and he had to keep dealing with loss of memory and still execute, pardon the expression, his job. And the same sort of thing goes down in Absolution. But in this case, this man also has family issues, and he wants to reconnect with his family as his brain is sort of, taking a hike. And he's also trying to hold on to his job in the criminal underworld. And one of the nice things about this movie, it's, by the way, directed by a Scandinavian director who's done some good work, Hans Petter Moland, and the screenwriter, Tony Gayton. He comes up with something interesting. This is not a great film, but there is something incredibly seductive about watching Liam Neeson go through his paces. I don't know what it is, but
this feels different than the others, or it feels the same?
A little
different.
It's a little deeper. It's
just different enough. You're saying?
Yeah, it is. It's a little deeper. So this guy's trying to kind of connect with his family, but obviously he still thinks he has the skills to continue to
A
work.
special set of skills, as I recall.
A special set of skills. And one of the nice things about the movie are the presence of some good supporting actors, including Ron Perlman as the boss that he reports to. Big hulking Ron Perlman. Love the guy. Nice performance by young Frankie Shaw as his daughter, who's incredibly resentful. I thought it was not a waste of time. Again, don't put it on your poster, folks. Not a waste of time. Michael Snyder, the Mark Thompson Show. I know it's, again, I damn with faint praise occasionally, but sometimes you just want to watch Liam Neeson,
Great. I love it. So it's in theaters or streaming?
It is, in fact, wide in theaters today. And again, it's not great. There are better movies. Like Taken is so much better, for instance. The thing that launched his career as an elderly action hero.
Sure.
But there were things about this that I like. It may be a little too moody and slow.
Sounds like Taken 3 is what Justin is saying.
Well, I don't know. They're not taking the daughter anyway. Give me back my daughter.
Right.
No, I want my daughter back is the actual thing here. She's sort of alienated from him. She's not necessarily in danger. Okay. People say, Michael, where are the comedies?
Right. I need laughter is what Ricky O'Bear literally says.
Ricky O'Bear always reaches out. And thank you, Ricky O'Bear, for listening and prodding me occasionally. And I just, I call him like I see him, number one. Number two, I'm dealt a set of cards every week, and sometimes you
don't choose this life.
No, I don't. It just comes to me.
You just deal with this life as it comes.
So here we go.
What is
Ricky,
it? What do you have a comedy for?
The
us?
Gutter. And I totally enjoyed The Gutter. Now, imagine if Spike Lee made silly, surreal comedies, and that's kind of The Gutter. It's about a guy named Walt who is sort of a ne'er-do-well. He can't do anything quite right. He's very eager and enthusiastic. He can't hold on to a job, and he finds a job because a very sympathetic bowling alley owner, even though he's clearly out of his mind, a bowling alley owner says, okay, I'll give you a job. And she, by the way, is pretty wonderful. She's played by Kim Fields, of all people.
Sure. She's great.
Here's a fact of life. She's still good.
I get it.
And he, while there, runs into a lush who used to be a professional bowler, played by the great and funny Darcy Carden, who was so wonderful on The Good Life, the TV program. And their interactions are fantastic. And it turns out that our boy, Walt, again, a slacker, to the nth degree, is an amazing bowler. He has this uncanny ability to throw strikes. Comes out of nowhere. He's never bowled before. So Darcy Carden's character, Skunk, says, I'm going to manage you. We're going to make money. We have to do it anyway because, unfortunately, our friend and supporter, the woman who has hired you, the woman, by the way, again, played by the lovely Kim Fields, Vicky, can't afford to hold on to the bowling alley. So we're going to earn money so she keeps the alley. It turns out that his ultimate foe is going to be a retired legendary champion, Linda, the Crusher Curson, played by Susan Sarandon.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about high-end.
That's great.
Darcy Carden, Susan Sarandon.
It's funny already.
And right, throwing another log on the fire is the fact that the pro bowling TV commentator who is following this year's bowling tour and is amazed at this guy, Walt, and of course skeptical, is played by none other than Paul Reiser. So you have a very talented cast, and let's just single out Shemak Moore as Walt, who is willing to do anything ridiculous to get a laugh. And I think ridiculous is a key word here because The Gutter does descend into the ridiculous, but damn, I thought it was funny. And he's out there on the bowling tour trying to make money to save Vicky's lane. And when Linda, the Crusher Curson, finds out that this guy is also breaking her records, she decides to come out of retirement and take him on. And, she's smoking a cig and like throwing strike. Let me just say, it was funny. Isaiah Lester and Yasir Lester, who I assume are brothers. I'm not sure, but Yasir wrote it. They directed, Yasir wrote it. And I thought that I'll be honest, The Gutter was funny, and it is in limited theaters, but it's also streaming today as well. So, Ricky, don't be whining that I don't bring you a comedy now and again.
Ricky says I'm in. Comedic, love, interest, and bowling.
Yeah.
Love it.
By the way, also in the movie, Jackie Harry, who I love. Mm-hmm. And, so there you go.
I love the poster. It says the gutter, America's 15th favorite pastime, just got dangerous. I love it. I love that line. The Gutter's in theaters, Michael?
In theaters and also available on streaming. Let's close out
Streaming
briefly.
where, Michael?
It's everywhere,
Just
bro.
Google it and find out, Mark.
Yeah, come
All
on.
right, okay.
Have you heard
All
about
right.
your computer?
Yeah.
Have you heard about it? Have you worked it out yet? Have you figured out how to hit the...
All right, there's no need to rub it in.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
wanna. All right, well, let's wrap things up with Black Box Diaries, a really, really impactful and well-made and affecting and shocking on some level documentary about a woman, the director of the movie, and a professional journalist, Shiori Ito, who decides to reveal what happened when she was sexually assaulted by a very high-profile Japanese politician.
Is it? This is in Japanese?
Well, it's in Japanese and English. She does some English narration here and there, and she's on camera a lot of it.
Do we have a poster for it, Albert? Oh, there it is. Black
Yes, of course.
Box Diaries.
Black Box Diaries. And, she's incredibly brave. She's incredibly determined. And she basically puts it to this abuser and does so in a very methodical fashion, as one would expect from a journalist who knows what she's doing. And, what happens over the course of her assault and incident is shocking to an extent, but we hear about it a lot, especially since #MeToo. And it certainly remains incredibly relevant. And as the story unfolds via, documentary footage, CC cam footage, and of course, interviews and appearances on video, including investigatory conversations with her, everything kind of unfolds. And this was apparently a big deal in Japan.
This was a true story, then you're saying?
Yeah, and one of the things about...
But this is a dramatic retelling of that
No,
true
it is
story?
not. It is a documentary.
Okay.
I should have,
I
there's
think that
all this archival footage. I think I made it pretty clear at the top. But I want you to know, that in
Did he
Japan,
make it clear, Kim? I did not hear him say it was a documentary.
in Japan,
All right.
What?
this
All right,
was
anyway.
a very big deal because the man that she's bringing down or trying to bring down is incredibly powerful. And apparently, in terms of judges and the contempt that people have for their fellow human and a certain set of not skills, but morality, certain types of personal responsibility, things like that are kind of embedded in Japanese culture and society, kind of work against her as she tries to do this. And it's exciting and it's really well made. And by the way, speaking of San Francisco, you'll be able to see this at the Roxy in San Francisco starting this weekend, but it's also opening in Los Angeles and a variety of other cities. Black Box Diaries. It's strangely enough from MTV Documentary Films.
Oh, interesting.
And it's kind of considerably better than another Britney Spears video, I'll tell you that. Remember when MTV did videos?
What did you think of Tokyo Vice, speaking of...
I loved it, and I raved about it on the Mark Thompson
I know you
show.
did. I was just asking for the audience who might not have been there.
Loved it.
I just don't know why you...
Why are you yelling?
Black Box Diaries, by the way, is in limited release. But again, I know our friends in Los Angeles and San Francisco, who we dote on and who we play to in large part, although the rest of the world tunes in. 50,000 subscribers.
All right. All right.
All right, I want to talk briefly about some TV shows. before we
Hurry,
get out of here.
Culture Blaster. Our time is short.
Yeah, well,
I'm very important, and I have a lot of very important things to do.
Okay,
and people
I
wait.
just want to say, I'm going to say this
kind of a big
quickly
deal.
because, again, people complain, where are the comedies? Ghosts starts season 4 a couple weeks ago, and I'm ready for it. Ghosts is the wonderful CBS and Paramount Plus comedy about a young couple that move into basically an estate that she has gotten on the back of a will of some relative she never even knew, and it turns out that the place is haunted, and she gets hit in the head, and she can actually see the ghosts, much to her husband's chagrin.
I see.
Rose McIver is Samantha Sam. Arandikar Utkash Ambudkar is her husband, and budding restaurateur Jay Arandikar. But it's the ghosts that run away with this thing, and it is a wonderful, I don't say this, a wonderful adaptation of a British comedy that is just as good, if not better, because it was first, but it has blazed its own trail. I love Ghosts. I'll also say quickly, Star Trek Lower Decks, the incredibly funny and Easter egg jammed animated Star Trek series that is ostensibly in Star Trek continuity, believe it or not, is on its final season, season 5, and it again stars the voice talents of Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, legacy kid.
Let me just ask you about Star Trek Lower Decks. These are the. I mean, it's funny. It kind of explains itself. But who's on the upper decks? The original cast? Or
no, but a lot of those people show up. This is the USS Cerritos,
okay,
and the mother of Tawny Newsome's character, Lieutenant Mariner, is the captain, and so there's mom-daughter conflict.
I see.
And I have to Jack Quaid as the seemingly hapless but ultimately efficient Brad Boimler is incredibly funny, and they did live-action versions of themselves on Star Trek Strange New Worlds last season, and all I can tell you is this continues to be charming, and again, jammed with Easter eggs. The great... we have to Jonathan Frakes, who is a Star Trek mainstay as Riker, and who has directed a number of the live action episodes and movies, has made some appearances as Riker on the show, and I love it. And finally, Superman and Lois. It's season 4, again the final series of episodes. This is on the CW, and it stars Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch as the best Clark and Lois ever, including Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. I love Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch.
Wow. Are they in a full-blown love affair, Michael? Or
they are married with twin teenage sons.
Wow.
Of course, there's got to be teenagers. It's the CW.
Now, are they...
It's like Smallville Creek or something.
Are the sons in any way super?
Well, that would be telling, Mark, but... some of that magical Kryptonian energy must have transferred during copulation. I don't know. And this season, they're facing off against the nastiest Lex Luthor in memory, played by Michael Cudlitz from The Walking Dead. I have enjoyed Superman and Lois. I won't even call it a guilty pleasure. None of these are. They're really well-made TV shows, and they're available to anyone who can tune in. The
Culture Blaster has weighed in with an aplomb that I have seldom seen here, and he loves Superman and Lois, now in its final season, he says, on the CW. The best Clark and Lois ever.
Serious.
And he includes Christopher Reeve. By the way, how is that documentary?
Oh, it's wonderful and incredibly moving. And be advised, Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder are
great.
Wonderful.
I get it. But these guys are even just a shade more wonderful.
Yes, I'll say a shade more wonderful.
Star Trek Lower... Well, I just said it, so you're just saying it again a second time. Star Trek Lower Decks is funny, he says. Get on it. Really loves it. It's on Paramount Plus, and it stream away.
Trekkers will really get a kick out of it. If you haven't seen it, jump in.
Speaking of Paramount Plus, he likes Ghosts. It's on broadcast television, if anybody still has that. Season 4 on CBS, and it's also available for streaming on Paramount Plus. He really likes Ghosts. It's funny also, so there's some good funny there. Plus, Black Box Diaries. This is the documentary from Shiori Ito that takes on a high-profile case of sexual abuse, right, in Japan. And it takes on power, and it takes on this sensitive topic, and you can find it, Black Box Diaries, in selected theaters throughout America. The Gutter is the comedy that he really likes. Shemek Moore, Kim Fields, Darcy Carden, Paul Reiser, Susan Sarandon. Some say Sarandon. I say Sarandon. Let's call the whole thing a comedy.
She's a tomato and a tomato.
And really, really enjoyed The Gutter. Right. It's in theaters now.
And available on streaming if you can find it.
I am looking forward to figuring out where I can stream it because, as you know, I never leave the mothership.
Google it.
Absolution is the Liam Neeson offering with a strong performance from Ron Perlman and Frankie Shaw. And you might think it's just another Liam Neeson chance to flex his action muscles, and you'd be right.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
But the Culture Blaster likes this flex, and he says, check it out. There's something oddly transfixing about Liam Neeson, he says.
Why are you yelling?
He will find that. You find that in theaters, right?
Yes. It's wide, as a matter of fact.
A Real Pain is the Jesse Eisenberg directed, written, and starred in offering. Two very different cousins. One is doing very well and well off in New York City. The other is kind of a slacker but super charming. It stars Eisenberg, as I've mentioned, in the lead role, but it also has this other great performance from the Culkin kid.
Oh, the Culkin kid runs away with it. I also want to say quickly, the young British actor Will Sharp plays their tour guide. He's really good. And guess who's one of the other people on the tour? A woman played by no less than Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey, baby, is not in the corner. She's in Warsaw.
Kieran Culkin, with that cast all mixed together, and apparently it's a very good movie. Yeah, Michael really liked it.
It is my favorite of all these films. If I had to pick a favorite, I would say it's A Real Pain.
A Real Pain, again, written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg with Kieran Culkin. Well, Michael, you certainly exhausted the areas and genres of entertainment and enlightenment. You've got a documentary, you've got some animation, you've got comedy, you've got pathos. It's exciting what you've done. And I appreciate your weekly contributions, Culture Blaster.
Thank you. And speaking of which, you can check out my latest column in The Voice of San Francisco. It's all about a movie that may be my absolute favorite of the year, Anora, that we covered here on the Mark Thompson Show, and I praised and, gushed over, and I get into greater depth at The Voice of San Francisco. You can see the column at thevoicesf.org.
Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster, follow him. He's on Instagram. You can see all of his little romps with all of his little artistic friends. And
the disdain.
His Halloween, he goes out in Halloweens with all the cool kids. That's is it Mike the Knife 123?
That's at Instagram, and of course I'm at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast.
You are, and you come and go on a rainbow. How about it for the Culture Blaster, Michael Snyder?
Hey, it's Day of the Dead tomorrow. Stay alive, people.
It is Day of the Dead tomorrow. You're right about that.